So it's been a while since I've done a Flash video. It's really hard to keep the quality up and do a video week in, week out of the same quality as my original Flash video. So I thought it'd be better to do a more of a State of the Union of the Flash, well, this arc of the season, and do the best possible job I can do with that, and take my time with it rather than rushing it. So far, just to recap, I liked the end of the last season 3, and it was a great ending to the Savitar theme. Okay, so just to recap, basically, Barry gets framed for killing DeVoe. Then Barry gets out of jail, but not until all the other, or at least 5 of the other bus metas get killed by DeVoe. And Barry's powerless to stop it. So finally, Ralph learns how to basically change his appearance by morphing his appearance with his plastic powers, and basically pretends to be DeVoe, gets Barry out of jail. All the while, Dawn Allen has been popping up here and there and bumping into Barry and his friends. Apparently, she may be his daughter in the future, his and Iris's daughter. That's pretty interesting. And DeVoe has this convoluted plan of switching bodies over and over to outmaneuver Barry, which isn't too hard because Barry can't do anything by himself. And basically, his team does all the thinking for him 90% of the time, even though he's a scientist. He's a forensic scientist, but still, he's trained in physics and chemistry, but he needs everybody else to do all the thinking for him 90% of the time. But, that's the TV dynamic that they established with Smallville and shows like Buffy, the Scooby Gang. Anyway, that's besides the point. So let's recap the nearest episode. Is the newest one is when basically you can tell it has something to do with DeVoe. DeVoe probably engineered the whole situation, but a bunch of terrorists steal a bomb from Argus, would have poorly defended. For some reason, they have local police defending an Argus container with a nuclear missile in it, a nuclear bomb in it, or whatever, a nuclear fission device. And for whatever reason, they have local police protecting it. And the situation was completely hopeless. They're in a small hangar, and there's about 20 or 10 to 20 armed guys with machine guns against a bunch of cops with just revolvers. And for some reason, they don't get killed immediately and overrun. Even though they're shooting at each other from 20 feet away, it looked like the cops will get flanked and killed. Okay, because if they have machine guns, they most likely have grenades too. So I don't know why Joe and his friends are surviving just plot armor. If they're gonna have that type of situation, just put it outdoors in maybe on an airstrip. It would make more sense. An air hangar, there's nowhere for them to go. Okay, it's an enclosed place again against machine guns, but for some reason, just TV logic, Joe is holding out and surviving, and they're not getting mowed down like Breaking Bad. What happened with Asac Schrader and his buddy just got mowed down by those meth dealers with the machine guns, and they just had revolvers, and they didn't last very long, did they? But whatever, it's TV logic, and this is it's a fun show, so sorry. No cop deaths, they just get wounded. They just get flesh wounds. Okay, and then the nuke goes off, and, I like the Flash. The thing I like about the Flash is that it really covers everything the Flash can do in the comic books. The Flash has a lot of powers, which are kind of he's applying his powers in different ways. So he has all these different applications of his powers, like whether it's phasing through walls, going back through time, or whatever. Then it just starts to stretch your level of belief, because I don't know. In this season, he can basically freeze time. He's basically moving so fast, everything else looks like it's standing still, completely still, like nanoseconds. And in this case, terrorist sets off the bomb, and he's defusing it. The whole episode plays out kind of like a reverse version of It's a Wonderful Life, and he can just animate anybody he touches and make them move as fast as he can, so you can have a conversation with them. And that was a good episode. It was a good episode. It was a tension-filled episode, but it kind of makes its own rules, because in one point, Jesse Quick was saying, "Hey, let's take the bomb and take it to the Badlands, like the desert." He said, "No, we can't take it to the desert because the bomb will go off before we reach. But you can go to the Earth 3 and go get Jay Garrick." And for some reason, the bomb won't go off in that time. When you go into Jay Garrick, having a conversation with him, he's not even moving in Speed Force, and then he has to move into Speed Force speed and come back. And they're going to do all this stuff and talk to all these people and try to figure out a way to take out the bomb. And this is happening like millions of a second. All this has to happen with all millions of a second. It's like a half-hour episode. This half-hour part of the episode is going on like this. And, all right, whatever. It's cool. It's a TV show. Nice special effects. I'm not even going to, question it, because, does it make any sense that this guy even has powers in the first place, from a particle collider going, crashing and whatever, going off and breaking down? So you just take it with a grain of salt. And I guess it's cool. It involved every other character in the show, basically, and they all try to give them some advice on how to stop the bomb. And eventually, the least likely person, Iris, has a plan based on the means they used to free Barry from the Speed Force in the first place. And there you go. And Barry saves the day. It overall was a good episode, and some great special effects, better than most of the season usually. Usually the season it kind of dips in quality sometimes in special effects, but it was pretty much high level and entertaining. It looked good on a 4K HDR TV. It's a decent episode, and here we are. And it looks like a self-contained episode, but you can tell it isn't, because there's a lot of unanswered questions about how that activist group, or whatever you want to call them, got so close to the Argus bomb, got the information on the Argus bomb, where it was and everything like that. So most likely they had outside help, which is DeVoe, and it's part of his plan. And the fact that Barry took the speed orb, that was his doppelganger, his decoy in the Speed Force, and took it out of the Speed Force to take care of the bomb, is most likely a big mistake, because they're going to use that against him. That's going to come back to bite him, because that was what he was keeping the Speed Force from going off, based on his absence from the Speed Force prison. So we'll see how that pans out later in the season. Anyway, good episode.